I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be, why is my girl backing off? Got an email here from a viewer, and he says, hello Corey, I have a quick question. What do I do if I'm not sure why a girl is backing off? I try to think about it, but I do not know why my girlfriend is backing off. I pass tests, I only have fun, I let her do all of the talking. Well, I say let her do 70 to 80% of the talking, not all of the talking. Tease playfully and in a loving manner. I let her initiate contact. It doesn't mean she initiates 100% of the contact. It just means that you watch her body language and her physiology, and you make, because when a woman is open to being touched, like if you're walking together side by side down the street, she'll be bumping into you as you're walking along. When she does that, then you take her hand. But if she lets go of your hand as you're walking after a few minutes, then you let her hand go, and then you wait until she starts bumping into you again. It's subtle, little, simple things like that you think are innocuous, but those are little ways that a woman will, and it's not that they're subconsciously thinking, okay, well, I'm going to let go of his hand now. It's just how they feel. When they get too comfortable, they get a little bit bored, it's like they kind of walk away, and you just got to let them go. And as you walk side by side a few minutes later, they may just grab your hand again and start walking with your hand. Or sometimes if they're bumping into you, then you just put your arm around them, and they'll put their arm around you. And then once they take their arm away, then you can take your arm away. And then she may put her arm around you later. It's a little dance, but you just want to be cognizant and aware of the fact that she does 70 to 80% of the initiating. You don't want to be a cold fish where you never call her, you never reach out to her, you never try to seduce her, you always wait for her to make the move. You don't want to do that. It's 70 to 80% of the time you let her do it. And why? The reason being is that she will chase you. She will pursue you. And think about it this way. If your girlfriend is calling you, texting you 70 to 80% of the time, and you just simply arrange one date after another, and you go out and you have a great time, and then when you're having a great time and she's sitting across from you, and she's maybe rubbing your leg with one of her feet, or she's bumping you, or she's got her knee up against yours, you just simply say to her, why don't you come over here and sit next to me? And then when she sits down next to you, then you can take your hand and put it on the inside of her thigh or her lap and just rub her leg and just say, you need to bring those beautiful lips over here and kiss me right now. And she'll smile and she'll lean in and she'll kiss you, and you make out there in the booth, or she's got her, she's come over and sit next to you as opposed to across from you. Just little subtle things like that. You don't want to be a cold fish where you let the woman do all of the initiating. That's not what I teach. The idea is just to make sure she's doing more of it, because her interest and the way she feels about you fluctuates over the course of the relationship based upon the things that you're doing and saying, and obviously based upon what's affecting her in her daily life, just so you can keep that subtle balance. And then once you do it enough, you kind of learn the right balance between pursuing too much and not pursuing enough. And like I talk about in my book, and the different relationships that I went through in learning this, and like early on, I was pursuing too much. And then when I backed off too much, which can have the same effect as chasing too much. And so it's a matter of learning the right balance between pursuing and letting her come to you. When you let her come to you properly and you pursue, you should only be pursuing about 20% of the time max, and then 80% of the time she'll be initiating contact, and then you simply just slowly reciprocate on those particular moments. So he says, despite all of this, what I'm doing, she's still backing off. Should I ask her what's wrong or if something's bugging her? She keeps backing off more and more, and I don't know the problem. Well, like I said, I would focus on doing those things, but if you're completely 100% waiting for, because I did this once, and I talked about this in my book. I had a girl that I had screwed up with, and then I backed off to the point where I wasn't doing it. I got backed off to the point where even when she called, I wasn't asking her out for dates, because what had happened was things had gotten to the point where even when I asked her to do something, she would give me some excuse, even though she was calling me. And then it got to the point where I just completely stopped asking her to do anything altogether, and then like 2 weeks went by, and I didn't hear from her. And then I think it was like 16 days went by total, and then she called me. And I was like, hey, how are you? And we talked for a little bit. And then after about 2 or 3 minutes, I said, hey, well, it's nice hearing from you. Keep in touch. I got to run. And then I got off the phone. And the reason I didn't ask her out is because every time I had done that at that point before, she would give me some excuse or she wouldn't do it, even though she was reaching out to me. And then so what happened was about 3 minutes later, my receptionist called and she said, hey, so-and-so is on the phone. And I thought to myself, I was like, maybe she's going to ask me out this time. And then I picked up the phone and then she brought up something that we were going to do, which was go to Disney World, the Epcot Center, and do Around the World, which is basically where you drink one drink at every place that serves alcohol all around the lake area. And the idea is that you try to have one drink at every place to make sure you can get around the world. And anytime I've ever done it, it's like we get about halfway and then you're like too shit-faced to do anything else at that point. But she brought up like doing that, and then she also brought up me doing something with her daughter. And so she made plans, and she says, do you have your calendar? Do you have your schedule? And I mean, she asked me all these things, but the only reason I let it get that far was because what had happened was I had pursued too hard, I had pursued too much, and it got to the point where even when she was calling me, I asked her to do something, she wouldn't make plans with me. And so I stopped making plans altogether. So you may be coming off as being too cold, and it may be something that you're saying or something that you're doing when you're on a date with her, but she should not be doing 100% of the pursuing, because if you... And so, back to my story, and so what happened was I got used to that. I got used to her calling and doing all of the pursuing, and then about a month and a half into it, then she realized that she was making all of the effort, doing all of the work to arrange dates and get together, and then she started backing off again. And then, like I said, over the course of the next couple of months, that's when it really clicked inside, where I learned the balance between pursuing too hard and not pursuing enough. And so you may be in a situation where you're not pursuing enough because you've backed off too much. But like I said, the ratio should be 80-20. She should be doing 80% of it, and you should be doing 20% of it. And so when you're with her, you should be seducing her and making love to her and having sex with her. But if you're just a cold fish that waits for her to do everything, she may be starting to feel like you don't care about her at all, and you're just going along with everything, and that's why she'll start to back off like that. But like I said, I would suggest that you go and read my book again, because there's, it's either you've backed off too much, or there's things that you're doing and saying that are turning her off when you're with her. And you could simply ask her when you're out on a date or after you've made love, if you really want to know. You just say, it just seems like you've been kind of cold and distant lately. What's up? You got something going on in your life that you need to talk about, or is there something troubling you? And you don't want to say it in a way that communicates you think there's something wrong with you or your relationship. You just communicate in a way that, hey, it seems like something is bothering you or upsetting you, or that your mind is somewhere else. What's going on? And she'll tell you. And just listen to her. Really, what else? Tell me more. Don't leave anything out. Just like I talk about in the back of my book when I talk about all the relationship skills. So if you have a question that you want to ask me, or there's a topic you want me to cover in a future video newsletter, go to my website, click the Contact Me tab, which will be on the left-hand side of your screen. Send me 1 to 2 paragraphs max, and just give me several days to get back to you with a response. If you want to talk to me right away, the quickest way is to book a paid phone coaching session. You can do that by going to my website, click the Products tab, which will be at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions. If you want to get a digital version of my Kindle ebook, on the right-hand side of my website, underneath the email sign-up box, is a box that has a link that will take you right to the Kindle download page. Once you get there, if you don't have a Kindle device, you can download a free e-reader app by clicking the button on the right-hand side of the download page to download an app for your smartphone, tablet device, or your computer. It only takes a matter of seconds to download and install it and complete the purchase of my book. And if you appreciate the value of the information I offer in my video newsletters and the articles on my website, you can show your appreciation by going to the Wibbia toolbar, which will be at the bottom of your screen on any page of my website. Click the PayPal donate button and donate any amount that you feel is equal to the value of the information. And I will talk to you soon.